In this movie, I will take a look at some examples of some variable and constant declaration statements. Here you see examples of declaring variables through the use of a dim statement. Dim is short for dimension. And as you'll note, by its blue color, dim is a keyword, as is the word string, and for that matter the word as. So each dim statement is declaring a variable. In the first example, it is declaring a variable called first name string. Now, the rules of the variable declaration is that the variable name must be all one word, no spaces, and cannot spell a key word. The suggestion is that you include the word string at the end simply to signify that it is a string variable. However, it is critical to note that what makes this variable a string is the phrase as string. So regardless of what you call your variable name, the data type in this case is the string. The second example is also declaring a string variable, last name string. The third example is creating a numeric variable, specifically an integer variable. Here, this variable, called age integer, would be capable of holding whole numbers, that is, no decimal numbers for data such as a person's age. The fourth example is declaring a variable that is a decimal data type. In this case, the variable name chosen is invoice amount decimal. Once again, note that the word decimal, which is the data type, is included in the variable name itself. Again, this is not a requirement of Visual Basic, but it is a suggestion as a matter of convention. And the fifth example is creating a constant. Notice the difference in the keyword const, standing for constant, as opposed to the dimension statement, or dim. The other difference here is, with a constant, you are assigning an initial value, or the value, for the constant. Since the purpose of a constant is to remain the same throughout the program, it must be given a value. In this case, the name of the constant is minimum amount decimal. Once again, we include the data type in the name itself. The as decimal is declaring this to be a decimal data type. I have the value of 10, but since it's a decimal data type, it is capable of storing something like, say, 10.50. So in this program, we have 4 variables and 1 constant that could be used to store data. Besides the naming of the variables and the declaration of the proper data types, the other key element of declaring variables is the location within your code of where these variables are declared. In this example, all of these are declared in the public class, what's called the general declarations area. You'll notice in the top right hand corner panel, this is called the declarations area. We also need to look at declaring variables in locations other than the general declarations area, because when you declare a variable or a constant in the general declarations area, you are creating what's called a module level or form level variable or constant. This creates the situation where you're declaring a variable that is now available to the entire form. There will be situations where you want to create variables that are local to specific procedures, such as a variable within the create label button, perhaps. If you declare a variable within this procedure, that is in between the private sub and end sub statements, somewhere in this area, then you're creating a local variable. We'll be taking a look at examples of these in another video.